Tri-City Sports Now. It's me, Marky Billson, and boy, do I really enjoy talking to this person, and you enjoy listening to me talk to him. That's what we're hearing from Bristol Motor Speedway. He's the right rev of speed on Tri-City Sports Now. It's Jerry Bonkowski, NBCSports.com, as well as Sirius. You'll hear him from time to time on there. But, well, what can we say? It is the night race in Bristol. Maybe for the last time in the regular season, but it still has a bit of a playoff feel. I mean, it is certainly going to have, must win for, Suarez and Johnson and everyone vying for that 16th spot in the point standings, if not higher. But I guess to begin with, we got to talk about the plane crash. And boy, did that give me a lot of scary memories. Alan Kulwicki, 26 years ago, but also you just couldn't, help but think of the Daytona 500 in 2001, where Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s father perished. And I guess when you heard about the plane crash, and for a period of time, we did not know the severity of what was going on. What were your thoughts there? I mean, did you have those same fears that I did? I imagine you did.
Well, and I'm going to preface what I'm going to have to say by saying this. I was unaware of the accident because we had a little bit of a calamity here at the house. My toilet broke yesterday.
Well, that's not good.
So I was in the middle of fixing that and didn't have the radio on or anything like that. And then I guess about an hour or so after the news first broke is when I finally heard about it. And when I saw the video, Marky, I don't know how anybody survived, let alone walked away uninjured. Mm-hmm. I mean, that plane and the way it went up in flames, just a great deal of credit to the pilots for getting everybody off quickly and safely. And just glad everybody's doing very well and is okay. But, I was thinking about this last night because I knew you and I would be talking today. And you mentioned Alan Kulwicki. He obviously was killed in a plane crash in April of 1993, less than 6 months after he won the championship. And, there also was a very good friend of mine who passed away in a plane crash. And I want to say the town is it Robinsonville, I think it is. Does that sound right? Or it's near Johnson City. I mean, it's northwest of Johnson City.
Bluntville?
What is it?
Bluntville, I believe. You're either Rogersville or Rogersville. Yes, Cherokee High School. There you go.
Yeah, and it was a good friend of mine. His name was Ed Dykes, and he was one of the pioneers in motorsports coverage on the internet.
Oh.
Yeah, he was flying back from, I think it was back from Los Angeles. He was heading back to his home in Georgia, and somehow he was coming back through your area. This was in the early January or mid-January of 2000, and I guess he got icing in his wings, and the plane went down, and we lost a pretty good guy. I mean, he was only 45 when he perished, and, I mean, had he not been killed, he would have done even greater things in the world of online coverage of motorsports. So it's just sad that there's been so much tragedy in and around the Tri-Cities area, when it comes to small planes. But, thankfully, Dale and his wife and his child and the two pilots are okay. And the question now is, what happened? I think that's going to be quite a long investigation by the National Transportation, National Transportation Safety Board.
Well, yeah. I was just saying, I'm thinking about, because I know of these plane crashes, and it seems that around here you do hear of these from time to time, and I'm just wondering if the terrain around here, where is it flat to land and all that, and if you're, if that has anything to do with it and such. I mean, I just wonder, I've heard people, I give you this example, and this is so me, but Bob Seifers was a great football player from these parts, and he and a backfield mate named Johnny O. Clement, okay, he was called O because he wore 0, were the backfield mates of the very first ever Pittsburgh Steelers playoff team, okay? And one day, years and years ago, Clement was flying to meet Bobby Seifers, and he crashed his plane into a mountain. And he used to always say to me when I would visit him, "I can see the mountain from my deck right here." And he would always say that forlornly. Yeah, and so, and you telling me of your friend in Rogersville, which is a very good car town, by the way, I just think it has to have to do with the terrain and all this. But yes, very thankful that Dale Earnhardt Jr. is okay. And I won't be behind the mic. Have you heard anything about NBC maybe putting somebody else behind the mic for their coverage, or that they just go one down?
I think they're just going to go one down. They did say, they announced last night, all the staffers were told that Dale will be taking the weekend off, which, definitely he needs to be with his family right now. They need to, recover from this trauma. But he will be back at Darlington in a couple weeks. So, the thing is, Marky, this so far supersedes, him being a race car driver or a broadcast analyst. I mean, he's a human being. How does a human being, no matter what they do for a living, how do you get over something like that? That's the thing. I had another good friend, a little good friend of mine, Jay Ramsdell, who at the time was the commissioner of the Continental Basketball Association.
Oh, okay.
In 1989, and the guy was a wonder kid. 26 years old, commissioner of at the time, which is in the NBA's official developmental league, and he was killed in that plane crash in Sioux City, Iowa. The flight from Denver to Chicago, and he was with another friend of mine who just survived without a scratch, which is odd. Whereas Jay, tragically was killed. So it just, it really makes people think, no matter who they are, how wealthy they are, no one's immune from the possibility of tragedy. So, I'm like I said, very glad that Junior, his wife, his daughter, and the two pilots are okay. And, if anything, hopefully we'll learn what happened and, make things even a little bit more safer for, because there's so many people not only in NASCAR, but IndyCar, drag racing, and that, who fly privately or, rather than commercially. And, I think everybody can probably learn a lesson from what happened yesterday.
We're talking to Jerry Bonkowski, NBCSports.com, one of, I guess, his company's co-workers. Of course, we're talking about the plane crash with Dale Earnhardt Jr., and just such thankfulness that it looks like everyone is okay right there coming out of it. Certainly all the people that were on the plane. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won't be behind the mic, but he will, they say, return for Darlington. And so, you just think about, traumatic, how do you come back from that and such? Who knows? I mean, do you drive to the next race? I mean, or do you, get right back up on the horse? I mean, there's a whole lot of different ways to take this here. I guess one of the things we think about this year, let's move on to the actual race. It's the 20th anniversary of the great Labonte Earnhardt battles. Speaking of Earnhardt, of course, 95 and then 99, the night race in Bristol and all. I once wrote, what are the 5 greatest sporting moments in the history of the Tri-Cities? And I said, number 1, I put down Ron Neckeye strikes out 27 hitters for the Bristol Twins in a minor league baseball game. That's a baseball record that will probably never be broken. I said number 2, the all-time college football crowd a few years ago, the Battle of Bristol between Tennessee and Virginia Tech. And then I had the Labonte Earnhardt battles, and a lot of people, I'm sure, would put them number 1. And I said you could put either one of these 3 or 4, 95 and 99. Certainly they added on to Earnhardt's legacy, not to mention Labonte's, but I just want to ask, nationally, are those races remembered as well as they are here in the Tri-Cities, in your opinion?
A race like that, yes, it definitely is. There are so many races every year. There's 36 if you include the exhibition races of 39. And, it's very difficult to have a race that just stands out that not only will be remembered for the next year or so, but certainly stands the test of time. And certainly the 99 race, the night race at Bristol, is one of those very unique races. Here we are talking about it 20
Mm-hmm.
And so the recall from a lot of fans, they remember that race. And even if they didn't see that race where they weren't there in person, I'm sure a lot of them have seen it, the highlights on YouTube and things like that. And it was a phenomenal race marked by two very difficult competitors. I mean, when I say difficult, I mean, they were two of the best drivers there are, and two of the hardest competitors, might be the better word to use. And, when you have a classic race, a classic outcome of that, you don't forget that kind of thing. I mean, to me, that's one of my top 5 races for sure as well, too.
It was Earnhardt evening the score, so to speak, in '99, and like I said, I mean, we've talked about this, I mean, how it appeared that Dale Earnhardt Sr. in around 1997, it was, he's lost it, he's not going to have it, and then you had the Daytona 500 in '98, and then this race in '99. I mean, really, silencing so many of his critics, and I mean, just adding on to his legacy right there. But then again, Terry Labonte, why do we remember it? Hey, he pushed him out of the way in '95, right? I mean, that took some cojones right there. So, there you go, and all that. I would have liked Terry Labonte anyway for his cameo on the Dukes of Hazzard. So, anyway, Undercover Dukes. There you go. Check that out right there. Hey, what is your take, I wanted to ask you, on, there was a suspension. I found this to be a little bit, I'm going to say just a wee bit odd, I guess, on what occurred. Let me get my notes here ready and present. Yes, I'm so prepared here. But there was a suspension of a driver who didn't get a whole lot of he was a part-time driver, and he didn't take, say, cocaine or marijuana or something of that nature, but instead it was here we go, right there, Bailey Curry 2, I'm going to say amino 5-methylhexane. And evidently, from what I read, this is sort of a supplement, something I can buy at GNC, but it's been banned and they're suspending him. Well, I hear that you've used a banned substance. I think that, you're shooting up with heroin or something like that. What is the big deal that you know of two, and forgive me here for, I am a little out of my wheelhouse here, but what's the big deal about 2-amino 5-methylhexane? Why are you suspending people for using that?
Well, I can't speak directly to what it is in that supplement that is against NASCAR's policy, but obviously it is against the policy per se. And the thing is, an athlete, and I'm not saying Bailey or any NASCAR driver, I'm talking about any athlete period. If they're going to take any kind of supplement, they have to know what's in the supplement. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very common knowledge. Be it NASCAR or the NFL or the Olympic Committee, there are a lot of substances that, even though they're quote-unquote legal and they're sold legally, they are banned by the sanctioning bodies because they may give a advantage of some type, if you will. And so that's part of the reason why they are on the banned list. Now, Bailey's a young kid. I mean, I've never talked to him. I think I did. I have talked to him once. But he seems like a really bright kid. He made a mistake. Mm-hmm. And there have been other athletes that had the same mistake. The NFL, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the player a couple of years ago. Same situation. He had supplements that were legal, and he was banned for, I think, 4 weeks or something like that. So, you have to understand that if your doctor is going to give you something, that's one thing. But if you're going to take something that's over the counter, you better darn be sure that everything that's in that supplement, be it to give you either increase your body mass legally, or give you better protein or better energy or whatever, you better make sure that is not on the banned list of banned substances, because you'll find out very quickly and soon enough that even though it may be quote unquote legal, it's against NASCAR policy, and that's the reason that he got suspended. So, I mean, I'm very confident that he'll be back. I'm sure he'll be back even before the end of the season. I mean, I think that he'll go through the road to recovery, which is typically a also tells other drivers, and it kind of reaffirms, because a lot of times, drivers may just forget, that they're taking something over the counter, a supplement or whatever, and this kind of reaffirms to them that, hey, I better be sure that whatever I'm taking is within the limits of what NASCAR allows, and if it's out of the limits, I can't take it.
Well, I'm just reminded again. I hope, that Bailey Curry, his career isn't too negatively impacted by this, because, like I said, I hear suspended for banned substance, and I mean, the first thing I think of is you're shooting up or something like that, and it reminds me a little bit of, and I don't like thinking of myself as an old man, but in my younger days and all this, when my friends and all that, they wanted to go to the gym, 20-year-old male and all that. They wanted, and I guess I was the same way too, and all this. We wanted to work out, we wanted to build our muscles up, and a lot of them used creatine, which was at that time in the late 90s, there was a lot of talk about, well, what is this doing with Mark McGwire? What is this doing around here and all this? And since we weren't Major League Baseball players, we were just sort of out to, my friends were out to get girls and all this sort of stuff. I don't think I ever took creatine. I don't think I ever did to work out. I can honestly say that. But I had a roommate who had a big whole, thing of it there. And you just sort of wonder, wait a minute, what is that? Why is this being bit? What's the problem here? And I guess it's just one of those things where you automatically think, well, if I get it at GNC, isn't it healthy? Isn't it? They sell vitamins there. Wait a minute. There's just a lot to learn with that. And I guess, Bailey Curry finding the same way that maybe some of us did when we were going to the gym and all that in a previous generation, or probably a generation now, too. It's Tri-City Sports. Can we take a break and go back and talk about who's going to make the playoffs? You got a few more minutes with us, Jerry?
Sure.
Jerry Bonkowski, it's race week. Yes, the Bass Pro Shops NRA 500 tomorrow night, the last regular season night race, at least for the time being, in Bristol. Tri-City Sports Now.
Go to Employment Solutions.